Hey, James at Eagleman Long Range Shooting School here at Bitely, Michigan at the Legends Ranch. I'm going to kind of cover barrel twist rate, RPMs, and gyroscopic stability. This is a 7.5 twist. I'm going to take a nylon, bronze, or brass brush that's larger than the diameter, ball bearing handle. We're going to shove it all the way down the barrel, even with the suppressors fine. And then what we're going to do is when it breaks loose, we're going to pull it back until it locks up, and you can see the handle or the actual rod start to twist. We're then going to make a flag. And making a flag is simple. Take a piece of tape. In this case, I'm going to use a sticker. I'm going to put it right up against the barrel and have it stand straight up. And we're going to pull it back until it does one full complete rotation. And then we're going to take our ruler or tape measure, in this case this one right here, and measure from the suppressor to the tape. And you can actually see that we are at 7.5 inches. This is a 1 7.5 twist barrel, and I did that on purpose for this Creedmoor for high stability. What that means is if the barrel is a 1 10 twist, that means for every 10 inches of the barrel, the bullet does one full rotation. If it's a 1 8, every 8 inches, in this case, every 7.5. So that's going to produce a higher RPM. So let me pull this out of here and get this out of here. So bottom line is when you're building a gun or having a gun built by a manufacturer, a lot of times they have guns already built and it may not be the twist rate that you want based on the bullet you're shooting. So we're trying to produce a stability factor of 1.6 or higher. Inside Eagle Ballistics, when you build your gun profile, it will automatically calculate your spin rate and your gyroscopic stability. With this one, with the 6.5 Creedmoor, you can see we have 274,000 RPMs and we're at 2.3 stability, which is absolutely phenomenal. The norm out there in the world is a 1.5 stability. I prefer a 1.6 because think about it this way. Your bullet's flying supersonic, it's going to transition to subsonic. If your bullet gets near the transonic zone, it can start to yaw and pitch. And if it starts to yaw and pitch, you're going to have groups that start to open up and you at longer ranges, and we don't want that. So we want to have enough stability where the bullet is spinning fast enough with the RPMs that it stays stable during most of the flight path or the entire flight path. So by running Eagle Ballistics, it's going to do that automatically. For instance, if I make this a 10 twist, let's take a look at it and hit set. You can see that our stability is now 1.3 and my app turned yellow to say, hey, this is not really where you want to be, okay? Now, if I go with a, for instance, 6 twist, which is way beyond what you would do, you'll notice that it actually turned yellow on the spin rate and it says you broke 300,000 RPMs. If you break 300,000 RPMs because you spun it too fast, so you got to get that fine line, then you can actually have bullet failure on impact where the lead inside of the copper jacket bullet, cup and core, can actually start to disintegrate or come apart because of the centrifuge, and it can cause bullet failure on impact. We don't want that. We need the bullet to stay together so when it hits the animal, that it's going to penetrate 3 to 5 inches through bone and muscle and have a mushroom effect and cause enough frontal hydraulic pressure to cause a large temporary wound cavity. If the bullet's already starting to come apart, when it hits the animal, it can separate way too quickly and fragment. We don't want that. We call that bullet failure. So let's put this back to a 7.5 twist like it's supposed to be. And you can see that we have great stability factor and great great spin rate and great gyroscopic stability. So hopefully this makes sense. Again, we don't want the bullet to yaw and pitch. Remember when you're a kid, you spun a top and it's spinning really good. When it starts to slow down, it starts to yaw, your bullet does something similar. And we don't want the bullet to do that near the transonic or in the transonic zone about Mach 1 to where we're actually going to have an issue with accuracy because the groups are starting to open up. Now, one last thing and then I'll move on because I was trying not to make this very long. Even if your gun shoots one hole at 100 yards because you're running a 10 twist does not mean it's going to shoot that good at longer ranges because it can lose stability. So we want to make sure we have good enough accuracy at 100 yards and we can keep that accuracy at longer ranges, 1,000, 11, 12, 1,300 yards by spinning it properly, okay? Hopefully this makes sense. You guys have a great day and I'll talk to you later.